Nice to meet you. Diodene. Hello, what's going on? Anyway, so good morning, good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? Uh, anyway, greetings, greetings, Don. Thank you for your wonderful job. I mean, I know it's absolutely quite amazing that that guy sometimes he has mental problems, you know. I don't know what he is here in the US to do, you know. Uh, Thank you, Don, for your wonderful job for for your wonderful designing. I'm so proud of you guys. Diodone, thank all of you for joining in. But today I will be talking something different today. So you are maybe you've seen the title. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. You know. Thank you, Prody, for joining in. Yeah, sure, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and so how you guys all doing? I mean, it's been a pleasure meeting you guys. You know, so I will be broadcast live on my Facebook and on my YouTube as well. Uh, oh no, I can't. Oh, I don't. Oh, I can. I don't. You know, why should I? I didn't. I mean, I wouldn't. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Today is Sunday, so you know. So, but so today I'm going to be talking about Buhari because there's something that is quite interesting about Buhari. So that is why I decided let me visit Nigeria and speak to Buhari because I have to speak to Buhari in Buhari language, you know. And so maybe let's just keep Amber on the side today. Then let's visit Buhari because there's something that is very, very important on Buhari that I need to talk about. So that's so. Where are all my friends? Do you have any of your friends in Nigeria? Is there any Nigeria around? Come on. Do you have a neighbor that is in Nigeria? If you do, just come on. And on YouTube, oh, my fellow brothers on YouTube, do you have any brothers that's in Nigeria? Because I'm going to be speaking to, you know, so today we'll be talking about, you know, there's an election coming up in Nigeria. Sometimes we just talk about our own self, we forgot that we have a neighbor in Nigeria. So that is why I am here to decide to talk about Nigeria, you know. So today is, so if you're on YouTube, so you know, let's see how many, where are all the brothers, you know. But anyway, so today I'm going to be talking about Buhari, you know. So today, all right. So I want to thank all of you that are tuning in today. So you know, there's something that is absolutely amazing that is wrong with Africa, and you know, sometimes we will really take a step back and see exactly what is wrong with Africa, you know. But there's something fundamental wrong, and that is why we need to bring it out so that they can be able to readjust. And so that is the problem that I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about Buhari. Buhari is the current Nigerian president. So if you have your friend that is Nigerian, so please, could you just share so that at least we have some kind of discussion about you know, it's quite amazing that something is deeply wrong with Africa. And that is why it's good that we talk about it and to let the world understand. and sometimes I will touch some areas of Angola. You know, sometimes people look at us as an Africa, as people that, because especially within the government area, you have to have a meaningful, defined policy that affect the rest of the Africa. We understand, and so I will also touch base with Angola and Congo. So the names sometimes may look similar. Anyway, I will talk about Angola and Congo. Those are the things that I'm going to be taught today. And so why we thank our brothers in Nigeria, because that's, so that is why I decided to visit Buhari. So fellow brothers and sisters and fellow Africans and those who may be watching these live broadcasts, there is quite things that, Africa need emancipations. Africa need a total emancipations. Emancipations began from the high up end to the lower bottom end. And this has to begin because we all learned about history. We all learned about the scramble of Africa. We learned of the European revolutions. We all learned about the French Revolution. We all learned about the bourgeoisie. We all learned all these. After having we learned, what have we done? We have come to the conclusion that when there is a government, when one single individual at the helm of the government for a length period of time, it becomes difficult for that government to become more effective. So they assume that by default, they know what the people know. Just as this one of the king says, he is to the people as the head is to the rest of the body. That is a wrong judgment. That's a wrong judgment. And we all have learned about this. And we have got the opportunity to stand and make those differences. And yet we seem to behave as we are not aware of this factual. So it is quite amazing that we see these. Even we study in all these advanced universities. We all study here in the United States, Great Britain, France, and we all learn. We know that single individual cannot be at the helm of a government for a long period of time. There should be a time limit. And when your term terminates, then you need to transfer power to another government. And that's where you'll be able to rectify whether, is there something that I missed? And how can I learn? How can I be a part of an educational purpose so that others could figure out? But anyway, today, that's enough for the lecture. Anyway, today I'm talking about Nigeria, Buhari. You all know that in 2019, there is an election that is going on in Nigeria. But here's the problems. Buhari, the other party candidates say, okay, it is a prerequisite that when the president is running, you should present your credentials. Your credentials is what giving you a qualifications. We all know that when somebody during the 60s or in the 50s, some were not able to have a PhD or advanced degree or a master level, which is advanced degree, or a bachelor degree, but however, it is quite amazing that you speak the truth that this is the purpose why I am running. In the 60s, I did have a certain level of education, which of course promote me to become the president of Nigeria. And so, explain explicitly to the people. So instead, Buhari asked Nigeria Department of Defense Department that his certificate, what do they call it? Certificate. Anyway, this Buhari said his certificate is with the Nigerian Department of Defense. I mean, it's quite amazing. Buhari says his certificate, of course, I mean, many of you probably from school, of course, I'm sure. Can you tell me that your certificate is with the Defense Department? Of course, they will ask you a copy of the copy of original of your certificate. Remember the word copy. They will need a copy of the original of your certificate or a certified copy of the original of the certificate and present to whatever department that you are presenting. Obviously, but in this case, Buhari happened to have given all his certificate. Buhari happened to have given all his certificate. Can you imagine? So Buhari has given all his certificate, and now the other party candidate are asking, because their own candidate has presented the originals of his certificate, but now Buhari is confused, and he says his certificate is with the Department of Defense, not with the Nigerian Department of Defense. So we are asking the Nigerian Department of Defense, where is the certificate of Buhari? I mean, so they're asking Buhari, say, where is Buhari is asking Nigerian Department of Defense, where are my certificates? And can you? It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing that Africa is. I mean, can you imagine how would you expect the world community to feel, especially you have diplomats in Nigeria, capital, and they happen to be on the TV to watch. And I mean, they are on the TV to watch a debate, asking you as the leader of that particular country, where is your certificate? And I mean, you have to be frank. You have to be frank. Say, no, I was in 1960. Let me look at the day. Let me be sure. You know. In 1960. Let me be sure, make sure that I am right. Of course, I'm becoming another Buhari. I will become another Buhari. Anyway, so in 1960, Buhari was clear and admitted to the Nigeria military. In 1960, at the time in 1960, he was simply a high school student. And so he was admitted into the Nigerian Academy. And which means he was still in high school, admitted into the Nigerian Military Academy in 1961, I'm sorry. So either of these days, yeah. So in 1960, he was in high school. In 1961, he was admitted into the Nigerian Military Academy. And therefore, what happened? In 1961, he was accepted into the Nigerian Military Academy. So probably in the Nigerian Military Academy in 1961, he was immediately completed his credential, which gave him a certificate of high school, a certificate, right? I'm sure I'm pronouncing it according to the Nigerians' way. Okay, his certificate was given as a high school. And so he was promoted, several promotion, and finally he became a general. Does a general in the army obviously give him a PhD? No. It's simply promotion within the military that he, through his efficient and effectiveness, so he was immediately promoted till he became a general in the military. And it wasn't a requirement that before you become a general, you must have a PhD, master's degree. And so during the era, he was more effective, efficient. And so he found himself to become a general. And now, later on, he became a president of Nigeria. But now, with the current political structure or a change in event in Nigeria, so they want a more reformed system. So I will encourage Buhari to step aside. I will encourage Buhari to step aside and allow different citizens to participate. Instead of him continue at the helm of the government and fortify his document by lying, saying the Department of Defense is holding his certificate. Is the Department of Defense, Nigerian Defense, issuer of certificate to Buhari? Of course, you will agree with me that no. So anyway, the director of public relations, I'm sure, I try to master Buhari's language, so I'm sure that may be confusing me as well, But anyway, the director of the public relations at the Nigerian Defense Department, Olade Lalaye, whatever, Olade Lalaye. It's called OLAJDE. Olaye. Well, my friends, please, you help me out here. Come on, you guys help me out here. But anyway, Lalaye, okay, he is a military. He says they couldn't find the credentials because the military are not involved in politics. So they should they should leave them alone and concentrate on their political affairs, present their credentials to whoever in need of the credentials. Because the NIC or INEC, which is in charge of the organization and requirement of credentials for the Nigerian Election Commission. So they require that any candidate must present his credentials to be able to accept. So you have to have your credentials to be able to admitted or accepted into the military. And so therefore it is required by default that Buhari and the other candidate present their own document. So the document is essential to meet that you actually reach a certain level of academia, So at least to present it. But unfortunately, the military said no, they couldn't find his credentials, and I am sure a head of state in a nation, a head of state, a president of a Nigeria. So it is quite amazing that, there's something absolutely wrong in this picture. There is something absolutely wrong in this picture because we should be very honest. We should be honest about ourselves, We should indicate, that I understand the time that I became a military, I was a military profession, and I excelled in the military. And after excelling in the military, I happened to be high level in the ministry. And I believe that after acquire my experience, my participation, and responsibility, I think I have a credential that will warrant me to become a Nigerian head of state. So I understand that education is required. So I can produce those documents because this is the level that I was. And after training within the military, I progressively become a general. And finally, I was a president. And I exhibit a clear example, transforming the people of Nigeria. And so I should be considered another credential. But I know the current era required to have education. But at the time I was, this was not a requirement. But I think I should be considered based on my age and my situation, and that I don't think I should be disqualified after I have reached the high level of office. So of course they will do some considerations and say henceforth any candidate that within this age must be able to provide these credentials to be able to be accepted into the high level of office. But those that are below that, above, or let's take for example, let's say it is required that you must present certain credentials. And those who were 60 or were born before 60s, they are not required to present any high level, because given the circumstances and the situation they were facing at the time. But now, henceforth, if a candidate is of this level, then this candidate must present a certain level of qualifications to be able to meet within the high level of office. That is quite clean and clear. Instead of saying that the military is holding your credentials, that is absolutely a false lie, because that is not true. So you should be able to be with the possession of your qualifications, your document. There shouldn't be with the Department of Defense, because the Defense Department of Nigeria is not the Department of Education. If he would have said they are within the Department of Education in Nigeria, whatever they call, what is the Department of Education in Nigeria? So if somebody knows, could you help me out and write it down? So if they were actually the Department of Education, that would have been meaningful. And that would have been meaningful, that people would recognize that at least his documents are in the right source, in the Department of Education. Instead, his documents are with the Department of Defense that has nothing to do with the education. I mean, it's quite amazing how people lie in this. But anyway, I'm going to show you, before I come back to that again, let me show you this, what is happening. And you know, I talk about Angola and Congo. It is quite amazing, that is quite amazing in Africa. We have immigrants. You know, immigrants migrate from one part of the country to the others. You know, immigrants are civilians. They are fellow brothers and sisters. And if you have, I mean, every nation has rules and regulations that govern their whatever immigration form. And so you must treat every immigration as civility as possible. So in the video that I'm going to show to you, it's showing an immigrant that were being broken, beaten, rough-handled, and especially the Congolese. I think the person in charge of the Department of Police Department or whatever, I don't know whatever the defense system is called, but their security department, whoever is in charge of the security department, ought to step down and apologize for this brutal video that I'm about to show to you. Let's take a look at what happened. I'll give you a minute and then you make your judgment about this video. And you will agree with me that we should be very tolerant when it comes to policy. Let's take a look. The video might not be clear for you, for your watch, but I have it on my Facebook. You should be able to have the opportunity to watch. Look. it's quite deplorable. It's quite deplorable. You might not be able to visualize those images. I have I posted on my Facebook. The important about this video is that they are immigrants. They are Angola immigrants that are in Congolese. And so they were being arrested by the Congolese military or police, whatever they call the police department. And they were broken, bones were broken. I mean, their arms were broken. It was not just about, I don't know how many number of people were in that video that you have just seen. So it was devastating to watch this. It is quite amazing that Africa still have a long way, you know. If you arrest somebody, take them to the next authority. Allow them to, they should be immigrant. If you are the police, you are a police. Your duty is to arrest. And once you arrest an individual, it's supposed to transfer to a different level of authority. That should be the immigration judge. The immigration judge will decide whether they should be allowed to be in that country, in Congo, or they should be deported, and treat those people with humanity. And you have no authority as a police officer. You have no authority to execute an order because it's beyond your reach to do that. Because that is why when they talk about the different arm of government, we talk about the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary department. And the police work under the judiciary department. And therefore, the judiciary department determines the law whether you violate the law of that particular country. And that law must be treated humanely. In other words, if the immigrants gain entry, or from Angola gain entry into Congolese territory, then they have violated law, and they should be international norms of the law that they must be governed the way they treat immigrants. It is effectively that Africa still need to get out of the dark ages and become more of the world society and be able to, because it is once the judiciary department began to punish police department because they ought to be governed by the law. There should be a law that governs how society must be able to function. When the police choose to administer the judiciary law, which is beyond their reach, then they are violating the internal regulations that ought to be punished, because when I see this behavior, those individuals must be tried, and those who were in that particular video, whether it's in Angola, those individuals must appear within the judicial department, and they ought to be punished, because this is deplorable to see human being treated in this behavior. There is a problem that is rocking Africa, that we need to transform Africa to a more different level. And that is very deplorable. And that is why I thought it was important that I project this video. And if you have the opportunity, go to my Facebook and look this particular video, and you feel the pain. It's not my cousin, they're not my relative, I've never been to Angola. But however, I feel the pain, because Angola is also an African country, and therefore there must be a human way. Because this is the the cruel action that existed in Europe in the past century. But now you can't find such cruelty in Europe, except some few immigrants. But there will be a legal system that will identify whether they treat someone humanely. And so Africa must learn this system and be able to apply. Okay, that was a bit of that. Okay, let's talk about, someone mentioned about Simon Muzu. I mean, you all watched the video. You watched the video. Can you believe that, Simon Muzu, this stupid individual, he leaves Cameroon. He leaves neighboring country, La Republique, coming over here to the United States to elect us, to educate us about a federal system, a federation. It's quite amazing. They are mental. Did you get it? They're quite, we here in the United States, as far as the Federal Republic of Ambazonian is concerned, we know what we need, we know what we want, and we exercise our goal. Our goal is to complete eradicate La Republique from the territory of the Federal Republic of Ambazonian. The people of Southern Cameroon, or the people of West Cameroon, or the people of Ambazonian, they were never a conquered territory of the neighboring country La Republique. They were never a colonial territory of the neighboring country La Republique. The fact is clear. They simply invited La Republique that we can work together, we can live together. And by so doing, doesn't give the legality of La Republique to take control of the people of Southern Cameroon, neither the Federal Republic of Ambazonian. And Simon Muzu and his entourage, they have the audacity to come to the United States to tell us that we need to accept federations. And on what grounds? I'm so amazed. I do want to take a moment to thank Eric Tato, because I wasn't even aware of it. But however, we thank Eric Tato for making such a move. Could you imagine that these individuals call police on behalf of Eric Tato, who is pointing their arrow? Our brothers and sisters, our distant relatives, our cousins, can any individual tell me or testify to me that either he has not had any one person that has been either killed or by La Republique terrorists that are currently destabilize the peace and tranquility of the people of Southern Cameroon? And Simon Muzu and co has the audacity to come over here in the United States to give us lecture about what a federation should. This individual, there's something absolutely wrong with this. There's something wrong with this picture. There's something wrong with this picture. And there are some of individuals here in the United States, and they have the audacity. I'm so proud of Eric Tato that he was aware of this situation, and he gained access to them and told them exactly what he has in his mind. Look, every world community, every international community has talked to. There is a difference between La Republique. If the people of the Bassar, if the people of the Western Province, let's say if Maurice Kanto choose to build his own ammunitions because he doesn't believe that he belongs to La République. Because what La République just exhibited is absolutely disgusting. If Maurice Kamto choose that he want to exhibit his own behavior and choose that I am going to defend my people because I cannot win an election, and a certain Bulus tribe, a certain Betis tribe, we have two, the Bulus and the Betis. There are two that control the entire economic of these nations. And they will choose to abolish them and choose their own son because they control the police, they control the army, they control every aspect, and all the generals are Bolus or Betis. And he has the right. And within the United Nations, when these citizens or any part of a nation that they deem that there is evidence that they have been, their right, their privilege has been prerogatively violated, they have the right to defend those rights, and it is within the United Nations to recognize that. And our people is not within, doesn't fall in that category. We are a separate nation. The same document that granted La République is the same document that granted the people of Southern Cameroon as a nation. And we were supposed to come together of equal level, in equal strength, and equal caliber. But unfortunately, La République, because of the leniency that we have chosen to remain calm and friendly, instead, they use an advantage over us, and that they are going to use their military. And that is why we, the fellow brothers and sisters, this is absolutely that we will not in any circumstance be romancing with La République. And that is why you have these stupid individuals called the Muzu. That is someone that I recall that in AAC 1, he was the leading figure that was advocating for a complete shutdown of La République. And out of a sudden, he became the leading figure believing that we can federate with La République. And he is coming to the United States to give us lecture how we should be able to accept La République, that we can deal with the federations. Of course, they have asked La République that let's deal with federal system. Did they recognize that we were people? No, they didn't. They assumed that we don't need, that they would decide what we want and on their term and at their willingness and at their own momentarily. But unfortunately, we have come above that level. We have go above that level. And so we are now determined what we want, and we know what we want. And our goal is that we need to eradicate, because absolutely we do not need La République in any circumstances. We do not. And we are asking La République, look, let La République know. Paul Biya, I am giving these messages. It's clear. It's a matter of time and space. You can choose to ignore it. Gaddafi believed nothing can hurt Gaddafi. After his defense system that he has installed, Gaddafi did not believe that something can happen to him. I have asked you and let the people of Southern Cameroon go. I have asked Paul Biya because Gaddafi did not believe something will happen to him. Whether you take this advice or not, but it is a matter of time. It is a matter of time. Samuel Doe, the United States Marine, anchored at the port and asked him to leave. Samuel Doe still believes that nothing can harm Samuel Doe. Just as Macbeth believed that the Binam wood cannot move from Mount Dosina. And if Bismarck has the false prophecy and the wishes is not different from the wishes of Pobia. You all know when they brought some, whatever they call from somewhere, they call the Grandmaster or whatever they call. Those are the wishes of Macbeth for those who think about Shakespeare. And so the Grandmaster came and told Biya that he would never be disturbed by any people of Southern Cameroon or the Ambazonian. And so he has this false prophecy, and he is hold on this prophecy, and his entourage hold on this prophecy. But here, this is what I have for you, Mr. Pobia, that it is a matter of time and space that you're going to sing, so long as the people of Southern Cameroon is concerned. You can choose to let the people of Southern Cameroon go and recall, this is clear fact. Recall all your military, recall all your divisional officers, recall all your governor, and let's sit on a table and give the terms of separation. That is what we are asking for. We discuss the terms of separation. Let's sit on the table. You recall all your divisional officers, you recall all of them, recall all your military, and let's sit on the table and discuss the term of separation. You choose it now and let's do it, or you choose it later. But either way, I can guarantee you that the next 1 year, you will not be in this very office in Yaoundé. I can assure you, I am speaking to you, that take my word, today's date, and then the next following year. Because you can imagine that our brothers and sisters in their home, imagine our brothers and sisters are leaving their home, are in Nigeria, begging for food, begging for a place to stay, begging. And we have Francophone occupying our territory, occupying our land, occupying it is, it's quite disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing. When our people, our brothers, our sisters leave their home, leave their land, leave their territory, and are in Nigeria, begging for food, begging for, and the worst part of it is the female that are using grass because they are in the forest for their own safety hygiene needs. Imagine women in the forest using leaves of trees for their own basic hygiene needs, and for those in the medical professions. Imagine what could have happened to either of them, developing infections, developing what kind of venereal disease. And one, there's no medical that if they're being harmed, they can easily have access to medical care. And yet, we have La Republique occupying our space, occupying our property, occupying our wealth, because we have certain individuals called Simon Muzu, who had the audacity to come to the United States to preach to us how we should live with federation. This guy is somehow mentally deranged. He's sometimes mentally deranged. So, for those who are fellow brothers and sisters and those in the diaspora, our brothers and sisters in Ground Zero have their sacrifice and are doing every effort that they can to ensure that La Republique is being eradicated. It is imperative that we avoid this personal egoistic mind that we must be at the helm. No, we shouldn't. Every individual can be, and therefore we must not say, must be the one at the helm. We can collaborate, we can bring all together our knowledge, our technology, our skills, our intelligence, and everything together on this platform. And we build and we execute that plan. And then effectively, we can drive La Republique out of our territory. And we can do this in good harmonious way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you have to be the one to lead. No, you don't have to. If someone says he can lead, okay, let's collaborate and work together. And let's be realistic. And let's be realistic. I can see why you should call your brother and insult them. Or because I am insulting Simon Muzu is because he knows the reality. He knows the fact. He understands. But yet, he wants to deviate from the fact and forcing us to accept something which is absolutely wrong. And under his conscious mind and under his subconsciousness, he understands that it is absolutely wrong, that we cannot, for the past 56 years, as him, as a professor, he knows that within the past 56 years, we cannot live with this terrorist government of La Republic. Our government system, our structure system, our political system, our system of education, the entire system of our is called to La Republic. And I don't see why we should be living together with them in the first place. So if all of us are on the same platform, then we don't need La Republic to educate us what we want, because we already know what we want. And that is why, because let's take, for example, let's look France. France cares less about our people. France cares less. You all know that when the voting at the United Nations, France persuaded all the French colony to vote against the sovereignty of our people. France persuaded them because they knew that at some time, somehow, it was a premeditated plan that at somehow Britain will abandon the people of Southern Cameroon. That they will abandon the people of Southern Cameroon. But yet, we are ready to defend our people. We are ready to fight hard and to promote our sovereignty. So it's time that we stand together. It's time. There are people that I understand, there are people, no matter what you do, no matter what you preach, they won't change. They will not. But sometimes we just have to ignore those individuals. Because when someone is suffering from severe diarrhea, there's no amount of medicine that you can give that will stop the diarrhea. So all you have to do is just to monitor and keep the environment, the surrounding clean. Because there's nothing you can do with those individuals that are in severe diarrhea. And so those are some of the individuals we have in our midst. And that we should keep their environment clean and let them be safe. Because we can't do nothing about them with their severe diarrhea. So that is how we have to live together. What else? So anyway, so I want to conclude. Thank you for you guys for watching, and but I want to thank our fellow Nigerian brothers, and we were talking about Buhari certificate. That let him complain and say, no, I didn't have certificate. So because since you didn't have certificate, then you have just the high school. Because once you have the high school, you can have, and so let them recognize that you have just the high school certificate. And that's what the Department of Defense, if actually they do have, and if not, and I mean, he can step aside. He doesn't have to run. There are people who are ready to run. He has been in the Senate since 1960, when he joined as a general in 1960s. when he became a senior officer. So what does he actually want? Because since he became in the military and he cannot build a hospital that the people of Nigeria can be proud of, and he chose his medical checkup in Britain. If you are excellent in providing the best to the Nigeria, then you ought to be in the hospital in Nigeria, because as a head of state, you should be a state-of-the-art hospital, so that every in Nigeria be proud to go and have him care. Because obviously when you travel to London, I'm sure one of your nurses was in Nigeria. You didn't figure that why I'm in London for my medical checkup, and it happened that my doctor that was prescribing medication is in Nigeria, in London, and then your nurse happened to be in Nigeria. And if you have these individuals that are in providing medical care in London, then there's something wrong in yourself. You should be able to question yourself. If I am in London and those providing me care are actually my brothers that they left Nigeria, then there's something wrong here in this picture. Then it should be immediately allow you that I need to build the state-of-the-art hospital facilities that will provide that the same people can be able to provide the same level of care for all the various Nigeria and any other individual elsewhere. You know? You know? So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a happy, wonderful day. And, you know, but fellow brothers of Ambazonian, we have a long way and we are almost there. But you all keep pushing. So this stupid individual they call Simon Muzu, I don't know where he's going. He thinks that we are just a stupid idiot, that he can just snatch himself here into the United States and start preaching about federalism to federate with neighboring country, Federal Republic of Cameroon. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.